昼間は細くて夜は太くて寝ているときなくなるものはなんだ?
The inside of a movie star's wallet. There's almost nothing in it during the day, they fill it up at night, and then it disappears for various reasons. This episode's cold opener was, oh geez, easily the most terrifying one so far. Let's not bring the other kind of witches into the show if at all possible. Anyway, yeah, Doremi was still in the dumps after having been the only one of their little trio to flunk the level 9 exam. In turn, Majoriko was depressed that she would be stuck as an amphibian for the rest of her life. Luckily for them, a familiar voice echoed throughout the shop. Yeah, I'm still convinced this lady is a Quina in disguise. Della had arrived to collect some payments, but I guess between all of the spheres they had used so far, they were a little short. Though she didn't mind, as Doremi's problems could act as an additional paycheck for her. Again, you can't really blame her considering that the proctors were clearly high as a kite and gave her one of the most ridiculous problems ever. But yeah, she had some intel about the proctors for sale that Majorika begrudgingly agreed to have added onto her tab. As it turned out, Motomota's 999th birthday was coming up, and to commemorate the occasion, she was willing to let any apprentices who had failed their exams of any level to take makeup tests. So with that, and some more magical spheres from Della that went for 100,000 yen, good gravy. Hold on a second, let's see here, 100k divided by 50, that equals 2,000 yen or $20 per sphere? Yeesh, and I thought my hobbies were expensive. But yeah, as I was saying, with some extra spheres on hand, Doremi began practicing for her makeup exam. Just like her friend, she tried making some basic food items that also just happened to let the animators reuse some animations like this. And okay, while the problem she got from the proctors was legit BS, I'm also starting to think Doremi would have failed no matter what with skills like these. Well, she can't be any worse than the Precure's guest stars. Before the exam that night, Doremi tried to hype herself up in full-on witch's regalia when Pop paid her a little visit. Are you sure that she was sleepwalking and not, you know what, never mind. Honestly, that was a bit of an awkward scene to just throw in like that, but more on that later. Worried about their friend, Hazuki and Aiko wanted to go check up on Doremi. Luckily, they both had fairies with shapeshifting abilities who managed to fill in for them while they were gone. Thus, they tailed behind them as they entered into the witch's world. However, when they got there, the two proctors weren't at their booth, so Doremi's group tried going straight to their home instead. There, they learned that while they had planned to do makeup exams, they had to cancel at the last minute because Motomota had. Why do I keep picking these surprisingly topical anime? Also, remember this scene for later. Anyway, Majorika managed to convince them to let Doremi find a cure for her cold, and in exchange, they would count that as her level 9 exam. With that, Doremi was given a guidebook and sent off to get an herb called the sneezing grass from the witch's meadows. She made her way towards the town, which gave Hazuki and Aiko an opening to show up and technically help their friend cheat on her exam. Not as though any of this would really matter, as we'll see by the end. In town, they decided to try out some local dining before heading to the meadows. And there, we learned an interesting little detail about this world. Spheres acted as their main source of currency. It makes a lot of sense considering how powerful these little gumballs could be. I mean, it's not every day you can imitate Dio Brando so easily. Which then meant that the Earth cash earned at the witches' shops acted more like an exchange currency, like when you enter into a new country. It's a very interesting little detail that was given to us through something as simple as our heroines ordering a bowl of ramen. Anyway, while they probably could afford a few bowls, they also didn't want to get an earful from the frog lady about wasting spheres. Luckily, the owner was willing to give them some bowls on the house in exchange for an autograph from Doremi because... Enjoy your 1-star Yelp review, lady. Apparently she had learned about this from Della, and as a result, she had attained minor celebrity status for failing a simple test.
That's stupid.
I mean, I get it, the witch's world is a very different place than ours, but really, they're celebrating this little girl's failure that's probably not even going to mean anything by the end of this episode because, spoilers, Doremi passes this retest? I mean, when was the last time we celebrated some loser who dropped out of school? I immediately retract that question. In any case, after getting some directions from a waitress at the cake shop, they finally started to make their way towards the meadows. They ended up passing through a forest of brooms. Yeah, not hay or anything, just a bunch of pre-made brooms tied together and everything. Is this perhaps where Walmart gets its low-quality junk from? Doremi tried to take a small one as a good luck charm, but was stopped by this lady, whom the crates just list as the Broom Witch. Probably could have called her a Sphinx Witch, as she gave them the aforementioned riddle, which they had to answer in order to pass. And while I still think my answer would have worked, I suppose Doremi's answer was just as good. Oh yeah? Then what's this one's deal? They continued towards the meadows, even making use of a shortcut, which they needed to shrink down to use. Inside of it was some trippy looking stuff, and then all of a sudden they were chased by a rat, and just as suddenly they escaped.
Well, that was pointless.
Yeah, I swear, I didn't cut anything here. They were presented with sudden conflict, and just like that, they managed to escape. It even kind of distracted me from the fact that these girls ended up using a warp tunnel, which is actually pretty interesting. In any case, they had arrived at the meadow and quickly found the grass, but as it turned out, it was also a Mario enemy that wasn't going to let itself get caught. However, just like what she did with the riddle and the warp tunnel, Doremi managed to figure out an alternate solution to their problems and caught the little weed. I don't know why there was a random rope on the ground judging by this shot, but whatever, Doremi had accomplished her mission. And lucky for them, they wouldn't have to take any long track back to the house as the meadow was right behind it. Then why didn't you get for her? Or were y'all too busy smoking a different kind of grass? I mean, there's just so much wrong with this twist. First of all, why did Majorika even bother with a guidebook? She could have just have shown her a picture of the grass and pointed Doremi to go behind the house to find it. You can't say it's because it would have been too easy, because as they kept reminding us throughout this episode, the level 9 exam is supposed to be super easy, and this retake was designed by Majorika, who would want to see Doremi pass no matter what. Second, if the proctors were planning on doing these retakes for other apprentices aside from Doremi, and an insta-cure for Motomoto's code was literally in their backyard, why not just go get it instead of making everyone wait for her 1099th birthday? Let's just end this. So, Doremi passed her test and got her fairy named Dodo, because get it? Dodo, Rere, Mimi, ha 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 ha. And the episode ended with everyone making fun of the fact that the fairy was just as clumsy as its master, as if they hadn't already made enough fun of Doremi at this point.
Why must every 11 minutes of my life be filled with misery?
You know, I could probably sum up much of this episode with just that Futurama clip again. I mean, okay, there was some good stuff here, like Doremi being able to show off her real intelligence, you know, the typical street versus book smart sort of stuff. But then, almost everything in between felt just so fillerish, thus this sort of two-parter of her becoming a level 9 witch just felt like a bit of a waste of time. Even putting aside that twist at the end, this whole episode in general just felt overly mean-spirited towards our title character. Everyone, even her own friends, were making fun of Doremi's clutchy nature, which again, I argue wasn't totally her or even her bad luck's fault. And yet, I guess we're supposed to laugh at how everyone belittles her with condescending gifts and the like. And I'm usually not even that against mean-spirited jokes like this, but not when they become this repetitive and make so little sense from a practical standpoint. Again, even if they come from a different world, what's so amazing about someone failing a routine exam? Now, that said, some little bits of world building were good here. I absolutely love some of the literally twisted and bizarre designs of the witch's world. The existence of warp tunnels and living plant life was fascinating to see, and even learning little details like how magic spheres were both the witch's power sources and currency really gets me interested in learning more about this place. Doremi herself is showing that she is well suited for a world like this, as while she still isn't that good at spellcasting, she was able to show off how she had good practical problem solving skills thanks to her street smarts, which I thought were just great to see. It's just a shame that the world around her was a bit of a mess, with things just happening and messing with her for the sake of the plot and really dumb punchlines. Overall, while this two-part did do a good job building her character, it was a pain to get through, kind of like a test in the real world. In case you don't watch any of my other videos, which you totally should, as soon as I edit and upload this one, I'm going straight back to work on my Higurashi videos for October. The first thing I'm going to tackle is going to be a ranking video for the original 8 arcs of the series, which is one of my personal favorite sagas of all time. Look forward to it, and until then, don't fail for that, my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I'm going to invest in magic spheres. I can only imagine their value is going to go up in the oncoming years.